On repeat, equity, equality, and all the many synonyms of fairness is the bedrock of human civilization. To humanity's greatest credit, this thoughtful species puts incredible attention on the concept of justice, perhaps more in theory than in practice, but nonetheless, an overwhelming part of the human psyche is the idea of justice or fairness, drilled into them from infancy. The very fabric of their society is woven together as a tapestry of action and consequences. The sanity of their race relies upon the assuredness that repercussions are a necessary deterrent from the human desire to be reckless and self-seeking. Humanity abides by an interesting concept called the law, an agreed upon system of rules enforced through an extensive network of authority called the legal system, which guarantees to humans an equal or commensurate reaction or consequence to actions by all humans within its jurisdiction. Humanity is therefore wired to conduct its living within the confines of these laws, and any action that contravenes these laws is punished in equal measure. This uncompromising species allow no exceptions to this manner of living. Most of your deadly wars and continuous conflict have been angry reactions to any attempt to manipulate this law to favor or in any way exempt certain individuals from its dominion, a term they call injustice. Humans have historically gone through drastic measures to combat this distasteful cancer called injustice, and their idea of a perfect world would be one in which all humans are subject to the exact same conditions or law of life, regardless of color, gender, or geography. Humans generally agree upon the idea that the absence of punishment or consequence for negative actions would lead to widespread carnage and eventual dystopia. They've called these consequences many different names, from rehabilitation to imprisonment to fines to excommunication, but nonetheless, all of humanity is unified upon the idea that negative actions warrant an opposing reaction. This is human civilization, albeit a failed civilization, for humanity is faced with the shockingly harsh realization that in spite of the deterrent consequences of negative actions, this species is inexplicably plagued with a plethora of negativity perpetrated by humans themselves. Regardless of the extreme response of their legal systems, humans continue to damn the consequences and delight themselves in contravening these laws governing their society. Consequences as far-reaching as death or torture is surprisingly not enough to scare humans from taking negative actions. Then came along this small gang of barbarians, an unassuming cluster of primitive humans who, although dwelling amongst the humans, seemed to live under a different jurisdiction. They reeked of lawlessness. They could not articulate clearly the list of laws governing their society, nor could they point to a legal system responsible for bringing order to their community. Yet, they were somehow overflowing in peace. They seemed enraptured by positivity. Like birds under an automated hypnosis, they navigate life with a reckless abandon, and yet their flight seems guided to perfection. Like a drunkard on a piano, their random smacks on the keys play out into a marvelous symphony of therapeutic delight. The rest of humanity, curious as to the workings of their lives, inquired upon this atypical bunch of weirdos. what the way of living was within their jurisdiction. These freaks called Christians began to describe the most grotesque form of society imaginable to humans. A kingdom in which there are no laws and no punishments. One of radical freedom in which negative actions are rewarded with grace and support, and inexplicably, the more negative actions, the more mercy and support is offered to the perpetrator. To cap off the gross irresponsibility of this kingdom, all of the punishments, consequences of negative actions these people perpetrated was pinned on a singular person who had never done anything negative. The very foundation of this kingdom seemed to be built on unfairness and injustice, which encourages carnage. Yet its people lived in the most profoundly hospitable way possible. They have no fear of retribution or punishment, and yet they live a life overflowing in love towards others. This was a mockery of everything humanity held dear, an assault on their carefully crafted laws and legal system. And yet, where humanity failed to maintain order through its laws, this kingdom thrived through an endless supply of grace, pardon, and support from their king and friend, Jesus, who ruled only by the law of love.